Yeah, so 99.9999999% of sushi restaurants at this point in history are not remotely even making an effort towards sustainability.
Over here you got the green, which we found right in the bottom where it's really rocky, is invasive wakame seaweed from Japan, which I'm gonna make for you guys later on.
You know, my food is my love letter to humanity, and that's how I see it. 9 out of 10 ingredients that you can get at a sushi restaurant anywhere else in the world, including Japan, doesn't exist on the menu at Miya's. For much of my career, I've had people come into Miya's and literally look at the menu and run out. That's kind of just how it goes when you do something that doesn't exist in the world. I hope to inspire people and move people to scratch below the surface of what it is.
I can get like 20 clams by swim trunks at a time.
Miya's was started 33 years ago by my mother, and it was a 5-seat restaurant. Today we're a massive restaurant. I think we have about 65 seats. The food at Miya's, nutrition's an important part of it, but also our impact on the ecosystem that comes from my mom, who started it, who's a nutritionist, who is an avid gardener. My father's an avid gardener. My dad's a scientist. Almost a decade ago, we created an invasive species menu, and today the invasive species menu doesn't exist anymore in the menu. It's all over the menu. Invasive species are species that come from another habitat into a habitat that they're not supposed to be in, and they create all sorts of problems. So in this ice over here, there is seaweed, and this seaweed is called Gracilaria, and this type of Gracilaria seaweed is an invasive species, and it has a lot of glutamic acid in it, so it's very, very flavorful. Right over here, we have Japanese knotweed, which is on the list of the 100 most destructive invasive species in the world. These leaves, as you can tell, are really, really tough. It's like just full of a super antioxidant. So what we're gonna have to do is lacto ferment it. So I'm gonna put salt in it and really squish it up, and then make kimchi out of it. So it's different from a conventional restaurant in that conventional restaurant is all seafood, but for us, a good part of the seafood platter also comes with plants, but they're all wild forage plants that we go and collect in the morning ourselves. A part of our mission is to create a market or create a demand for different types of ingredients that nobody wants to eat. So it's logical to say that we can eat away our problems when we start eating away invasive species. Invasive species is a top 5 problem in the entire world. Florida, for example, only has 4% of their native species left. You know, I'd never even thought about an invasive Asian shore crab, or I didn't know that dandelions and mugwort were brought over by the Pilgrims of the Mayflower, and then I didn't know that wild plants were exponentially more nutritious than any organic vegetable that you can cultivate. And then we'll make a roll of butterbur. This is an invasive species from Japan. It's like a giant terrestrial lily pad. It's poisonous if you don't cook it. And next we have mustard green, an invasive species that literally takes over any area that it's around by excreting a chemical that makes it difficult for other plants or impossible for other plants to grow. Yeah, so foraging happens every couple of days. Yeah, throughout the spring, summer, and fall.
Right here. Look at all these. Little invasive Asian shore crab.
The cuisine of sushi has got some problems. You know, it's white rice today, and you put sugar into it. Well, white rice is like white bread, and if you're adding sugar to white rice, you're basically eating Wonder Bread. That goes back to why we haven't been using white rice for, over a decade now. And over 2 decades ago, I stopped putting sugar in the rice. And it was little changes like that that led to the menu that we had today. This is a lionfish that I just sliced up. Lionfish is an invasive species that was brought over because of the pet trade. This is a very popular dish, and it's been for many, many years at Miya's. This is a diver clam, so literally rather than dredging, every clam that you're eating, we actually swam around and looked for with our own hands, and that's why my hands are so, if you look at it, they're literally tattooed black. We have no influences anywhere else as far as food other than what was kind of percolating right here in New Haven based on these ideas of making sushi healthier, because healthy for our bodies is directly linked to healthy for the planet. You know, I always looked up to, writers and musicians who are able to move people in that way. And I always wondered how I can touch people with my food more than just this is beautiful and tasty, but something that strums our heartstrings. How do you like? Oh, it's on.